my co-host.
Select first.
We in the building and we back. We're going live on Twitter and on YouTube at the same time.
At the same time.
And we have a couple of things we want to cover today. And if you're watching this right now, make sure you hit the like button and comment down below to let us know you're here. And if you're watching this um later on, you can comment down below too and hit that like button too. So, you know, where do you want to start live first? There's plenty of things we can talk about. The last space that we had, we talked about, how your potential is limitless. And, we went really deep. We put about 2 hours in it. We didn't record it, but, I felt like it was one of those things that if you were there, you would have got so much value. But at the time, it was more so about us building, and we ended up going into that conversation. So I would love to continue that conversation about how one's potential is limitless in terms of how much you can learn, what you can achieve. There's no limit on it except for the limit that you place on yourself, or the limited beliefs that you have that was installed in you as you were growing up. It's not really necessarily your fault, but you know, your parents didn't know any better. So I don't blame them either because they didn't know any better. So now we're in a time space where it's like, at the end of the day, the knowledge that you can acquire from either on the internet or, if you're, you know, well equipped enough to have an actual mentor to guide you along the way, which would be dope. But at the end of the day, if you don't have that mentor, I feel like there is plenty of people online that will either guide you in the right direction or put you towards somebody who can help you. So, I just want to talk, we just want to talk a little bit about, how our potential is limitless and how, we're right now building our own platform in terms of educating people, whether it's inner understanding or outer understanding. That's what we talk about here on this channel. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button, comment down below, let us know what, you would love to hear more of, or if you want us to continue on this conversation. Because going forward, every Friday night, we'll be going live here on Twitter and on YouTube. So I don't want to take up too much of the time. I'm going to let Life first say a little something. But you can go ahead, brother.
No, you go, brother. Setting the tone, getting the mood right. Getting the people right, letting them know what's going to be on the agenda for the day. Yeah. You know, eh, a lot of the different things that we cover, especially when we look at it from a perspective of heritage, right? In regards to, if you know better, you would have done better. If you know better, you would have done better, right? You have to say to yourself when you get to a certain point in terms of knowing better as far as doing better, right? When are we going to start to actually act those things out, right? So a lot of these things stems back to accountability, understanding oneself, getting familiarized with who you are as a being. What is your purpose? What are you here for? Right? What are you trying to accomplish? It's very, very important. And we go about it in different ways, right? We have this uh, uh, what would we call it? Topic we do on Twitter.
Hmm.
It's called deconstruct, right?
Yep.
To where we approach numerous conversations based upon things that we look at in terms of keeping us in this, manipulation, right? And and we really get to the cause of it, right? The cause, not the effects. So so I think a lot of these things goes back to your own ideology in terms of how do you see the world, what do you think is best for you, right? With understanding that you're the one who ultimately it's having the experience, not someone else who's telling you what to experience. You're the one who's doing it. So again, it's just a bunch of different things that we cover, not in particular, but if you guys are new and you want to kind of get familiar with a couple of different things or more so understand yourself on a whole nother level, this is the place to be.
I agree. Completely agree with that. And I want to say, at the end of the day, all that you need to do, it's within, go within and find that answer. Because you talk about purpose, and I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of us go through our life and we don't really even think about the reasoning for why we're here. We're clearly here for a reason, and we all have that one thing within us that, yes, we may all have the same potential, but there's one thing that we're all great at. One thing that only you can do that, because you came here to do that, and it's up to you to go find it. And if you the interesting part about that is that if you don't search for it, you'll never find it. So for me, it's like, uh, we're at a time and space right now where we have to start looking for that, because we've been doing things for what, millennia or however long humans has been on this planet, and what everything that has been done has brought us to this very moment right now, and you're here right now. So for me, the question I have for you is, what is your purpose? What did you come here for? You didn't just come here to work a 9 to 5, or if you're an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, just to hoard money and get money and buy stuff, and then you pass away, and that's it. That's it, right? That's all you have to say. Oh, you have money, and then what? What value are you bringing to the world? So those are the questions that we have question everything serious. Go check it out. The link will be down below. That's a great series. You want to check it out. And also our previous series, our very first series where we did Let's Talk. We broke down a whole lot of things where we talked about on the deconstruct. We made videos along those, so go check those out. The link will be down in the bio. If you're on Twitter right now, man, hit us with a like. If you're in here watching, make sure you hit that like button, man. So the algorithm know. Yep, I see you, Stephanie, pulling up always. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. A quick thing I did want to talk about is where did COVID go? By the way, what happened to that? Can we talk about that? Where did it go? Where did that go? Like, I don't know. I feel like it just exit stage left, and every now and then they sub variants and baby variants, whatever variants they want to call it. So it kind of disappear. I'm just looking at my notes over here. One key thing that I tweeted the other day was one of the major things to believe in is yourself. You know, if you want to believe in it, if there's anything you want to believe in, it should be yourself at the end of the day, because it is up to you to do the things you need to do to better your future. And I could tell you all I want, I can tell you till I'm blue, but it's still going to be up to you to do it. So to go back to your potential is limitless. I feel like at the end of the day, we all are capable of doing the things that we write down on paper. We all have goals, we all have dreams, but we let either our environment, people around us, everything that, the day to day hustle and bustle take that away from you. But I feel like it comes back down to time management. And that's something that I'm working on right now, is the time management to, hey, say, you know what, these things I need to do, and I need to put, whether it's half an hour, that same time space that you use to be on social media or whatever the case may be, you could take 30 minutes from that and put it towards, a goal. Maybe you're writing a book, maybe it's reading, whatever the case may be. But just take that time and put towards your goals, because at the end of the day, when you go to that 9 to 5, you're building somebody else's goal, just so you know. But that's just my 2 cents on, the potential is limitless, and everything starts with you. So yeah,
That's
like,
a fact.
if
That's a
you
fact.
want touching on that.
Yeah. And even to build off of that, too, right? Kind of going back to the conversation where we started to head to when we was in space on Twitter, when we were
Mhm.
talking about making the distinction between the what as it correlates to you, right? So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a backdrop on it. So we were pretty much trying to determine in terms of how do you see yourself, right, as an individual. So being a what? So people refer to the what as your soul, your consciousness, your spirit, right? So do you make a distinction, or do you see your body and that thing being one, or do you see it as that thing powering your body, right? So ultimately, we were first trying to make that distinction, right? To where I believe you said, King Drew, that you saw it as it being two, or you seen it as it being one.
In terms of, you're saying in terms of your body, or like I like to go with consciousness. So you'd
Okay,
like, so let's just use consciousness as the what.
okay, okay.
Let's use consciousness. So I feel like consciousness is the, per se, the entity that's behind the body, the soul, the spirit, all of that. Where it's like a god. What's the proper word for that? Some, it's like a navigation thing where it's like, okay, some, if something's a little off, well, for me, that's how it works. I don't know about other people, but it'd be like your conscience is weighing on you,
Mm-hmm.
like something similar to that, where it's like you do something that's wrong, it weighs on you because the guy, your compass is going in the wrong way, so it's trying to bring you back, or that's kind of wrong. You shouldn't have did that. But at the same time, it's like when it comes to, is it one or two? I think it's just a combination of both. One, I think it's just one, and it's like it's experiencing the physical form is how it experienced the world, per se. I don't know. I don't know how you view it, because I would love to hear your view on it, because you brought it up in terms of how you view it. Is it one or two for you?
For me, it's two, right? Ultimately, why do I say that? Because when we think about this experience, we look at it from a perspective of, once this body does what, returns to the earth, we're given some kind of an acknowledgement to something then moving on. We refer to it as energy, right? What did we say? Energy never what dies, it, it lives on, right? So in that context, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I say that distinction, that's what I mean when I say the what in that context, and your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is your body symbolic to the what? So meaning what exactly, right? If, let's say for instance, right, if you um and we talked about this too, right? So let's say if you got shot right in the head, right? Could you survive that?
Possibly, some people have.
Right? So let's say if you get shot in the heart, could you survive that?
I don't think so.
The chances is right, correct, right? So I'm pretty sure there's probably people who maybe survived the shot in the heart, but the point is, you get shot in the brain, you're still alive. Now the question is, what part of you is alive?
Mm.
Meaning the thing that powers this vessel, is that still within inside, or is that now not there anymore? You get what? Where is that? Where is that?
So my question would be, could you have one without the other? Since you were talking about that,
Could you have the
without,
body?
yeah, because you just talked about if somebody got shot, um, could you have one without the other? And in a sense, another part of that is where when you pass out, is it off, or is it what's going on there? I'm just playing devil's advocate here,
Right,
because
right,
just for the sake of conversation.
right. And
Because I
considering, right?
know you say there's two, but I
Hmm.
feel like they're one, because at the end of the day, I feel like, well, we don't necessarily have the faculties to sense if it's out, the body's no longer there, that consciousness is there, or whatever the what is for you, you know?
Hmm.
We don't have that capability right now to sense that. So if the body is not there, how does one say that you said it's two, so that means that, what happens to that? So what do you define the what as? Let me, so that way I can make it make sense. So when you say the what is the what for you? Is it
So the
consciousness,
what? So the what for
spirit,
me essentially is just the
soul?
what, right?
Okay, so it's
So
just
I essentially refer to the what as the what. I
okay.
don't necessarily,
Put a
put
label
any
on it.
labels on it because I feel like,
Right.
unfortunately, when you do that, you tend to take on an ideology that's already set for such labels. So for me, I just like to call it the what, right? But I do make a distinction that there is something else that's powering this vessel, right? To
Hmm.
me, the what. So when you're communicating with me, you're not talking to my exterior. You're talking to the interior. The interior what that's powering this avatar in that
Okay.
regard, right? So in that sense, so that's the distinction there, right? So I see it as being two.
The what? Okay.
Now, in the event to answer your question, like you said, could is it possible to have one without the other?
Hmm.
Now you got to ask yourself when a woman is conceiving when she's I'm sorry, when a woman is going through
Labor.
not labor, birth, right?
Pregnancy.
Pregnancy. You got to say to yourself, right? And the fetus is starting to come into this conception, right? It's coming into its own conception, right? Now
Hmm.
you have to say to yourself, at what point is that fetus then powered? Because then we're asking ourselves, right? Because we really got to break it all the way down. Because it doesn't start when all of a sudden when the baby comes out and then boom. So you got to say to yourself, so then let's take it even a step further. How about this, right? How about from the moment every female is born, they're already born with all of their potential babies that they could ever have in their lifetime,
Yeah, the eggs. Yeah.
right? So and those eggs is alive within inside of them.
Oh my god. There we
So
go.
just
Holy
think about that.
trippy. That's trippy. Wow. And it's very interesting that you brought up that topic because right now they're going back and forth with this abortion thing. And
Mm,
the question that I actually had over here is why does the government have a say in what you can do with your body?
mm. And that's a damn good question, brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Were you going to respond to it? Oh,
No, no, no. I
right,
wrote it down like literally as I was thinking. I was taking some like notes, mental notes. Stuff I
right.
wanted to go over, and I just that question just came to me, and I was like, "Wow, where did that even come from?" But the fact that how do they have the say in terms of? No, I'm not even going to talk about the vaccines, and whatnot. But this new topic where it's like they're telling you can choose not to. You don't have a choice anymore, right? And for me, it's like at the end of the day, the way I view that is it's just creating more division anyway. Because a lot
Facts.
of the things that are coming out right now that they're doing or whatever it may be, it just creates division, point blank, period. So when you look at it on a scale where it's like you're gonna have the person that's for it, and you're gonna have the person that's against it. We're still combating against each other. So at the end of the day, it's the way I see it is it's your choice. It is not my place to tell you what to do. Right? You want to have one, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. That's up to you. It should always be up to you. And it's very interesting where I'm listening to, I was listening to Breakfast Club, and I'm like, they were talking about how now you shouldn't take away your choice. And I'm like, wait a minute. How are you gonna say that? But in the same light, when it comes to the vaccine, you don't say that at the same time, right? Because they weren't given no choice. And it's funny how if you go back and look, they're going back on a lot of the things that they were saying about the employees not being able to, go to work. Now they're telling them to come back, even if you're not. So for me, I don't really want to dabble into the vaccine conversation, but it's just very interesting how you talked about the because when I was listening to what you were saying, I was just thinking about in terms of where at what moment does the what start or come into place. That's the question I have for you. Like, what moment through the pregnancy, when does the what kick in? You know,
Right.
and it's like a very very interesting question where it's like, okay, so is the what like a moral compass? Like, how does it plays? I'm just going along with it, processing it, breaking it all down with you, brother. You know.
So even so, to build off of the government being able to have a say based upon if a woman can or cannot, right, do
Mm-hmm.
with their body how they see fit.
Yeah.
Perception, right? Perception of control, right? Perception of authority, right? And even when you just think about it, just understanding the fact that how is it that we vote these individuals into their power, and then they turn around and then get to say, oh no, you have to follow and abide by, if not face these retaliations. Mind you, who decided that this particular uh, control, right? These branches of control was something that individuals said, yeah, I'm cool with having this control factor be, take control over my experience and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I experience. Right now, if you subscribe to it, if you acknowledge it, then again, you do what you got to do. But I'm saying is that just think about the nerves of any person that's within that entity, right? Who got their certification, right, from someone else. How familiar is that? How did America become America again? Right? What? Because somebody give them the power so then they can have power over somebody else, right? Or groups of people. And then when you go get certified, what is certification? So you're getting empowered from someone then to go and do what? Have power over groups of people. So just think about that. Just when you really just think about that, right? But when did the person even go to the person and say, hey, are you okay with said things, right? You come into this conception from birth, and this is where you go through your your um your indoctrination. You get what I'm saying? So it's just very interesting, when you peel the layers back and you see it for what it is. But as far as the government with the perception of them being able to say yes or no, it's funny because now they're saying it's okay for you to abort your baby, I believe 2 weeks or 4 weeks after the baby is born. Think about that. You could go and abort. So you have to say to yourself, man, like, geez, they it's like they just killing babies, they left and right. Oh, if you don't want them, yeah, get rid of them, right? There's no thing to say, and I shouldn't say there's no thing to say. Obviously, there are places where there's interventions that's put into place, right? But just the idea, the fact that this is what's being normalized, again, is something that should really make you think deep. Why would a group, an entity, your government, you know, be on that side of the coin, right? You see the hand that they're playing, so perception, man, perception of control, right, is what it comes back to, is to make you believe that you actually don't have a say, you don't control anything when it comes to earth. This is what it's all about. It's earth. Nothing else matters, people. I promise you. It's what happens on earth. Money doesn't matter. Where do money come from? Earth. So we're using earth to pay for earth. Think about that. Everything comes from earth, and we're using earth to pay for earth. Just think about that. But then, even to take it a step further, we're like, yo, matter of fact, we will go and work for it 40 hours out of the week. And then we'll create bills. And then we'll do what? Use more earth than to pay for all of those things. And then we could go experience it. You know what I mean? So, really and truly, like, and we're going to take it there, right? So this is just to give you
Yeah.
guys a little bit of a snippet, right?
Yeah. Well, welcome to King Talk Live.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, just a little bit of a snippet,
Welcome to King Talk Live. We
Yeah, I
break it
mean,
all down.
all the
That's
way
what
down.
we do around here.
All the way down. But
We do
yeah,
it. We're paying for things that are coming free from the earth,
come
bro.
on, brother. Come on,
That's
man.
crazy, man. That's
Earth's like, yo, you guys can have it. Have your experience.
exactly.
Be happy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like really, when you think about it,
And now, because as you think about it, it's like we just go along with it.
facts.
We just go along with it.
Mm.
Now I'm like, oh, it's like all being unraveled in my mind as I'm thinking about it. It's like, why? Like, why do we like? who made the shift? Like what at what point did the shift happen? That we're like, you know what, let's just start paying for anything. For things that we get for free, right?
Facts.
And I know you talked about this where show me you can't own anything. You talked about sorry, I was about to say something. But you can't really own anything, right? Because technically, even if you did purchase it, you still can't own it because once you pass away, it's still it's not you're not gonna have it. So you can't own anything, right?
I mean, but even to that point, right? Listen, so ultimately, you can occupy a certain space, but now let's put that into perspective. But you can occupy the space that, let's say, have resources that was placed there for everyone to experience, and then come and say, well, because this is on my land, I have ownership of it. Like what? Oh, like so when you think about that and you understand where we're at, and then we understand how money have played the deception into their perception, right? And then when we see now, anything about kids coming into this conception, and now it's hearing, oh, you have people like the dude with Tesla, what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Exactly, being 300 and whatever billion dollars. You get what, like, literally, right? Like, how are you supposed to compete with that? How do you compete with that?
You don't. You don't. There's no competing with that, man. And it's very interesting that you said that. I was just having a conversation today. We're talking about cryptos,
Yep.
and the guy was telling me, oh, he was reading about Warren Buffett and all that, and now Warren Buffett said that crypto doesn't have any value, and then I was like, wait, the paper money right now ain't got no value either. It's that we believe that it
Let's
does.
go.
So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you have all those billions, but that paper money don't mean nothing. If everybody was like, yo, that $20 bill don't mean nothing tomorrow. If we all woke up at 12 o'clock tonight, we say all that paper money don't mean nothing.
Then what?
You have billions of paper.
Come on.
You have billions of paper, but it's like, as a collective, I think we've been so divided and distorted that to even come together to think the same is scorned. They're like, no, I don't think like that. I don't know that's some conspiracy stuff. What are you talking about? So at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like like you just wrote right here, using earth to pay for earth, right? If that doesn't trigger something in your mind, I don't know. You got some leveling up to do, because that's deep. I'm gonna tweet that. Actually, I think you have access to it. You can tweet it right now. But I think that's very, very interesting in terms of how things are now. And the thing is, I feel like we're at a turning point where a lot of people are starting to wake up to the truth. And what would the world look like if we didn't have to pay for these experiences?
So what's so crazy, right? Bro? Literally, I was about to say to you. You say to a person, how about we say, there's everyone could experience anything at their own leisure, right? For free. Now, all those individuals who be like, oh, I love my job. My job is everything. My job means the world to me. Man, oh, thank you. Oh, God sent me the sign. Literally, right? So meaning what exactly? So again, just to entertain, right? Entertain me for a little bit, just for a little bit, right? Let's say if we didn't have to pay for anything, right? So meaning what? If you want to go to wherever your heart desire, you could pick up and go, get there, and you could do it the flyest way ever, right? Whichever that may be for you, right? So everything was So right, so meaning what, right? So what would that then look like for all the individuals again who are saying that you, in order for you to have any democracy, right? You need to have a workforce, right? So what if everything was you didn't get a paycheck because everything was free, right? What would that then be like? Like meaning what exactly? Would you still go to work? Would you still go to that job that you say that you love, that you prayed for, right? Remember you prayed for it now. Would you still go to that job for
I would.
free?
I would. Part time though. Part time. I don't know. I don't. I would because I like
Mm-hmm.
my job because I have grown to understand that my job is a character building job. Like I have to improve. I can't just be the same person day to day because I work with artistic kids. They are very observant and they know when you're on and they know when you're off. So for me, it's like I like it because it builds my character, and in turn, I help to build their character. But for me, yes, I would go part time. Full time, if everything is free, I don't know about that, but part time, yes, I would definitely do that because I like it. It helps me to
Mm-hmm.
grow.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
don't know anybody else, but that's just
mhm.
where I'm at.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, right, and me personally, I mean, the reason why I say that, right, is
yeah.
because I feel like a lot of the times we get caught up into this whole exchange being what exactly, right? You have you're at a place to where you would think about what is the workforce, right? You have supply and demand, right? To where what you do there is a demand, so they needed to what? They needed to get a supply of individuals to be able to cater to that demand, right? I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure if you looked around, anywhere there's a bunch of that supply and demand, but the only difference is what? They're getting paid to do this supply versus the demand, right? Meaning what exactly? So let's be honest with ourselves. The only reason why we're doing what we're saying that we're doing is because why? Because we're
Why?
getting paid.
Yeah, we get paid. Yeah, of course, I agree. Of course, come on, because literally. There's people that they just go there to get a paycheck and then that's it. And they sing that "Thank God It's Friday" song. TGIF. But for me, it's like even prior to having this job, all the other jobs, I was just, hey, man, I'm here to get a paycheck, and then that's the end of that. There's no if you wanted me to, if they were like, you know what, this upcoming week you ain't gonna get paid to be here. Let's see how many people show up for work. I'll tell you that. You ain't getting paid to be here. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be working here. you know, that'll be the mentality of most people. Is like, yeah, I'm like, yes, you say you love your job, but if they ain't paying you, will you do it? Yeah, I could say that because for me, it's just the different experiences that I go through in terms of building my own character and getting pushed to a whole nother. I'm more sociable now than I was a year ago in terms of you know working at my job. So for me, I like my job. In the beginning, I didn't. I'm like it was tough, but as I've gotten to learn the kids, I created a bond with them. Even for me, where I know come September, my whole class is about to change. So now I'm gonna have a whole bunch of new kids. But at the end of the day, I look at it as it's a new way to learn, you know, and propel myself so I can grow. So
And don't get me wrong, right? When it
yeah,
comes to the job, again, I'm not knocking it.
Mhm.
Personally, I just think that as humans, right, you know, when you just think about everything that Earth it has here for us, and when you think about how we're leveraging it, and when I say how, meaning the perception that we participate into how they're leveraging Earth in creating, in my opinion, mayhem, destruction,
Mhm.
chaos, right? To where we then have all of these things that is manifested from it, right? That we call a workforce, right? When we just think about all of these things that we're forced to be engaged into because why? Because of one thing, money. Meaning what exactly? In order for you to experience. So if I were to say to a person, right, tell me if you could tell me where would you be at right now if you could snap your fingers at me. I promise you, it's not the person gonna say, "Oh, I'll be at work because I love my job that much." It's not. You're not gonna hear that. You're not gonna hear that.
I'm never gonna hear that.
Even a person who is a multi whatever, right? If they're working for it, but then if the alternative could be if they had one wish and they could not have to, right? Well, I don't know what they probably wish for, but needless to say, um, I will gamble that it will not be to work in that sense. You get what I'm saying? Now, as far as in my opinion, right, what that should then look like, it should be a collective ness, right? So let's say you and I, right? We might go somewhere and we're like, yo, you know what? Let's settle over here. Build up a community if there's no community there, right? And that's what it should be like. I should not even have to know about anything else that's going around the world unless if I chose to get engaged to it, right? Not some syndicate that's controlling how news is being spread. Like again, when we even understand everything that we're exposed to and how it's affecting us. And then we just have to normalize it and go on as if these things ain't happening. I can't do that. You know what I
Bro,
mean? Because I understand that the only reason why we're even talking this work stuff is because of that higher perception of control. And a lot of people even want to address that. They rather talk this talk versus going all the way up the ladder, right? So it's to me, so that's
I,
what that question, yeah.
I got one for you.
Yep.
So for you, Fred, my question is, how do we get to where you are in terms of how you view the world, and how can we teach the people that are watching us to get to that level? I think if we focusing on that, we can bring more people in.
Facts.
just, just to get people to that level, because clearly, you know, one can see that, how money plays its part in this utopian, right, structure or system,
Facts.
whatever you want to call it, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, how do we get people to, not necessarily full on think the way you do, but just see through your lens per se? It's like, okay, so the more people that we have like that, it would be easier for us to transition into a state where it's like, okay, you can have whatever experience you want, like you mentioned, and you don't have to pay for it because we created money, and money is a system. But now the system's at a point where it's like it's messing up a lot of people's life because you're functioning differently because you don't have it, and you function differently because you want it. Because people will go outside of their morals to get it. You see what I'm saying? And you'll give away for 40 hours a week just to get it. What could you be doing with that 40 hours a week? That's what I'm saying, where it comes back to you. And I talked about time management earlier, and I feel like, at the end of the day, I don't knock the 9 to 5 because I work 9 to 5. So for me, it's like at the end of the day, it's just having that time to build your dreams, because sure as hell ain't nobody else doing it for you but you. So let's just go back to what I said about, how do we get people that are watching this to a higher level in terms of awareness, and, getting to that, building our utopian where it's like, hey, at the end of the day, let's move away from this money thing. I'm not talking about going to crypto and things like that. No, just move away from the money altogether, because life would be so much better if we didn't have that. But one may say, well, who's gonna do this and who's gonna do that? How are we gonna get these things like that? That's the questions that's gonna come up. Like, who's gonna drive the trucks? Who's gonna bring the food in? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that? Right?
And you already answered it. So think about the question that I asked you earlier. And you said, actually, my guy, you said I will still work part time. You remember that? Remember
Mm-hmm.
that? I said, what did I say to you? I said, yo, what if everything was free? You could go, you don't have to pay for a thing. You still used to, because why? And that's what it should be. It should be because I have a passion to what's maybe wanted to experience what it would be to drive an 18 wheeler, what it would be to be a pilot, what it would be to do anything that I want to do in that regards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could personally could get to that point, generally get to that point, right? And take on, yeah,
And not even that, you would have better service.
facts,
The reason why
facts,
you have better service is because the people that are actually doing these things are passionate about it and they want to do it.
facts.
It means that you're gonna get them, fully them, and it's gonna be on a whole nother level. So now I'm starting to see it, but that's what I'm saying. We have to have these conversations where you can see it because naturally in your mind, those filters that I talked about in the space, some of the you have to fix those filters because the filters, even as I'm thinking about it too, I'm hearing the who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that. But see, we broke it all down and we got to the conclusion where it's like, hey, at the end of the day, there's gonna be people that are passionate about the things that you yourself may not want to do. But hey, just like you said, maybe someone want to learn how to be a pilot, but there's this you got to go to school for, you got to pay this, you got to do that. There's these steps to get to the pilot. But I'm just saying we're rocking right now. We're rocking right now, definitely. If you're watching this right now, make sure you hit that like button, man. If you're getting some value, comment down below if you're loving this, because we'll be back next Friday. We're gonna hit you with another one, and we're gonna keep it going. Just a very interesting conversation right there in terms of just breaking it all down in terms of how we could get rid of money. And I know there's people out there that are listening, like, oh no, you're gonna go to the cryptos. No, we ain't talking about no cryptos, man. We're talking about creating a society where everything is free. And you know that, like I said, the people that are gonna be doing the things that you may not necessarily want to do, those people are gonna be passionate about it. So
And right, and even to that point, right, when we think about civilization based upon the perception of civilization, meaning what exactly? So it's more easier for us to go along with a collective understanding of moving away from money as it pertains to us going along with the conception of us participating with money, right? Because why? Look at where we're at right now as it pertains to money, right? Now we're talking about crypto, right? Centralized, decentralized. You have the government trying to, right. So there's so many different things happening there as it pertains to money. Why is that important? Because again, we need to understand when it all fails, remember, money is the deception. Money is the gatekeeper that keeps you away from earth. Literally, right? So that is the only the only thing that's pulled over your eyes
yeah,
that's stopping you from seeing the fact that earth is already giving us. Earth is money. Every day we get to stand on money and we don't even understand it. Literally, we don't believe it so much that we trick ourselves into believing that we actually have to go to work in order to get something that's coming from where again? From earth. Again, how could you create, I'm sorry, how could you own something that you cannot create? Again, metaverse. How could you own something that you cannot create? Metaverse. Now, people, connected, right? Why do we think now everything is being pushed over from the physical, even money to an extent? Money carries energy, right? You know, right? You may know or you may not know, but money actually carries energy. Needless to say, and we're gonna go more into that in one of our other, yeah, we'll save that one for a
yeah,
later time,
we're
right?
gonna we're good. We're definitely gonna touch in on that.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
you guys comment down below. Actually, put some comments down here. We'll actually talk about money carrying energy in the next upcoming live next Friday. What date is that? I can't even see my calendar won't
The
pull up.
13th? Oh no, I know we got Friday the 3rd. Is that the Friday the 3rd?
Yep,
No,
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
And
Let's go. Okay.
I don't believe in none of that. So that's just a thought that was put out there and everybody ran with it. No,
Let's
I don't
go.
think I don't think so. Nah, brother. I change up perceptions all the time.
Fact.
You just change what you hear it all the time. I'm like, change it once, and then when you see it change, confirm it, and then run with it from there. That's how easy it is to change a perception of. So
Facts.
Friday the
Fact.
13th, yeah, hell yeah, we back.
Mhm.
We'll be back. So we're gonna try to go more live spaces. You know, one of the ways where you can get in contact with us because we'll be live on Twitter. That's our way. But we just wanted to do face to face, of course.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, people. It's been a little bit. We have neglected the community. You know, somebody
Yeah,
send it
but
out.
it wasn't only neglecting the community. We realized that we needed to grow. You know, to bring
Fact.
you back better content. The more we grow, the better the content will be. And you guys are growing with us.
Let's
That's
go.
the thing. So comment down below, let us know, But in the
Fact.
meantime, we're just gonna keep rocking it out and follow us on TikTok.
Oh yeah, the tick, right? We gotta get us
I
right.
mean there, man.
Let's go.
Hey,
We
listen,
everywhere.
TikTok live is everywhere except for Facebook. Because they don't really
The
Facebook,
metaverse. They get the metaverse.
yeah,
You know, they're
yeah,
like
yeah, they're like, nah. They're
that.
too real. They're too real. They're too
Right,
real.
right.
They keep it in a buck over there. They're like, nah. But all
Fact,
in
man.
all,
Yeah.
Talk Live is a great experience. You come here, you learn, get some laughs in there, knowledge. You leave here feeling good, feeling great. So
Facts.
at the end of the day, we're just here to get you to a higher level of consciousness. Be more aware. Because literally, as I'm driving, I'm just like, these people are just so unaware. And I'm just like, wow. Guys, have you ever been driving down a street and it's two lanes and you see about six cars in the same lane, and then you're coming down and you get in that lane. As soon as you get in that lane, everybody want to move over now. Like the lane was never there to begin with, right? You ever notice that?
Oh yeah. Energy.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I'm like, thank you. I'll be like, every
Mhm.
time that happens, I'm like, thank you. I
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
thank you because I'm at the front of the line now. The light's green and
Hmm.
I'm gone. You
Yeah.
know. Then everybody starts swooping over. Now I'm like, the lane was there the whole time. But it's one of those examples where there's things that happen where people don't even notice it, and it's very interesting. Next week we're gonna talk about memory too. Memory. I want to have a build around memory, so that let me write it down so I remember that. The next week's focus is gonna be around memory and how memory plays a part in your day to day. And I know we talked a little bit about how, as you go through your day, you should summarize and go back over your day at the end of the day. So definitely want to have a good, quick conversation about memory next week. Anything else you want to touch upon, brother, before we close it out? Because we're getting
Right.
that 50
Definitely get
minutes.
into that time. Correct. Right. Yeah. Now again, we appreciate everybody who pulled up to the live. Thank you very much. We're back. King Talk Live. We're committed. We're going to be doing it again each and every Friday. We're going to try to move the time up. We're definitely going to get better with the time to make it a little bit better, but definitely, yeah, again, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the frequencies,
Always.
appreciate everyone who is coming to their own conclusions into understanding again the what, right? Cause and effect. We got to understand that cause is narrative, right? Cause are narratives. Narratives are the things that's manifested, but inside of these manipulations, right? So these things that we experience, we always have to remember those experiences aren't you unless you're taking it on, unless you're saying, I'm choosing to take on these experiences, and now I'm going to act out the emotions that is coming from these experiences, right? Right. And you have to then say to yourself as an individual, why? Why would you experience something and then take on those behaviors, right? You have to look at it as a parasitic, right? So you have to say to yourself, are you in control, or are you capable of taking control and being in control? If not, that's parasitic, right? So that means you have a whole nother thing in there who's running the show, and all you're doing is being an observer in your own avatar, right? So on that note, you already know what it is, man.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure you hit that like button, comment down below what you learned. So we want to
Facts.
see. And without further ado, we want to thank you guys for watching King Talk Live. Till the next one. Peace.